Hi, Ellen Goes here. Good morning. It is a Friday. If you're watching live, if you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. The subject today is another one of the A emotions. I refer to it as ashamed, but it could be regrets, feeling bad that you've made a mistake. I remember I was coaching pressure free to a volleyball team and watching them in some pretty intense competition. And one of the girls, you could see her skin just turn red and her face turn red, but like arms and legs too, like an instant blood flow, which is what happens when we trigger the stress response. Anytime she made a mistake or anyone on her team made a mistake, sometimes even when someone on the other team made a mistake, and what I was noticing is that she was instantly feeling like this little thing of shame, like or worry that she might make that mistake, that same mistake, if it was somebody else doing it, or when it was her team, like just feeling kind of shame for her whole team, like, we blew that one. Um, and another thing that I see is so many people that I coach, they're high achievers. They expect to get a lot done in a day. Sometimes we'll put so much on our calendar and so much in our list of what we're going to get done that we get to the end of the day and there are things we haven't. Um, and so we'll feel that little bit of, oh my God, I didn't get everything done. There's this tightness. And it's that tightness that can signify if you might be just about to trigger the stress response. So does that make sense? Like what we're looking for here in pressure free is what can lead us to go into that space where there's suddenly a tension. And certainly any feelings of shame, regrets, making mistakes, things in the present moment, but also memories. So if, all of us have things we've done that we regret. We've said things, we've done things. We have memories of things that we've done, things that people have done to us that cause us a lot of shame. Maybe when you were a teen, someone broke up with you and it was so embarrassing and the whole world knew. And um, maybe you said something to somebody in second grade and you wish you could take it back. It could be so many different little memories. And when those memories come up in us, they can cause us to trigger the stress response too. So sometimes it's very subtle, these little feelings of shame or regret. Sometimes it's more overt, you feel your face get hot immediately. You start sweating. It's difficult to sleep because you can't stop thinking about it. So I want to give you a couple tools today on this Friday um, to help interrupt the stress response when you're having those kinds of feelings. The first is a simple slogan. This is for times when you get to the end of the day and you wish you've done more. I'll just put a hand on my belly and relax my belly and go, tomorrow is a new day. I just heard that in French on a show I was watching the other night. It's exactly what this film editor said, which I thought was crazy because my sons have a film production company, Ingalls Pictures, and I don't know how many times we all get to the end of the day. There's so much more we could have done, right? So, tomorrow is a new day, is something that I will say. So, let me talk about slogan a little bit more for you. So, when I was creating Pressure Free, I was reading a book by Jason Selk, who's a performance coach, and he has this athletes. He works mostly with athletes and also leaders. He was putting together their statements, so they would read a statement before they took the court. Like this statement would be a few sentences. I was like, okay, that's great, but I need something really fast to interrupt the stress response. And immediately I thought of Nike's Just Do It, this the slogan. I didn't have my own room growing up in the city, but at our summer home, our lake house, um, when I was about, I don't know, 13 or so, I shared a room with both of my sisters then in the lake house. My parents said, "How would you like to have your own bunkhouse?" So the bunkhouse was where we stored our water skis and fishing equipment and everything, but it had this little bathroom and it was this little space. It had a couple bunk beds in it actually, old army bunk beds, and I just jumped on it. I'm like, yes. So we cleared out. We actually created a different space for all that equipment. I got to have my own room. And the first thing I did was I slapped up all these Nike posters, like just posters that I liked. And let's do it was the slogan on I think every single one of those. And so it's like, okay, let's do it. That can be a very positive slogan. Here are some of mine. They're very quick. One of them is stay up, and I lift my ribs up from my waist. I get my posture up and open. And the moment that happens, it's like I'm up and over the situation, the problem, the thing I'm feeling ashamed about. And I'm like, okay, stay up. Like I can't do anything about what just happened. So I do that with athletes. You'll notice athletes will immediately like go down when they're making mistakes. Like they'll just go like that, they'll drop their head. And you hear that all the time from coaches, keep your head up, keep your head up. But if you keep your ribs up, that helps too. Because if you sink down but keep your head up, you're tightening. And that's because you're trying to protect yourself from this threat of not being good enough. So, ribs up is another one I'll say. That's another slogan I have. Stay up, ribs up. Um, Let It Go, which is now a song. When I created this, there was no Let It Go song. But if you know Frozen, then Let It Go is one. Um, Just Breathe. And I also think of the song that has that Just Breathe in it. So, music can be a great interrupter. You can pop on some music immediately that puts you in a different mood. Um, let's see. Some slogans of my clients. One of my clients worked for Kellogg. Hers was, I can do this. I've got this, which is a great slogan. And there's kind of this like almost smirky smile, like, I've got this, even though in the moment you're kind of feeling like, I do not have this at all. It's like, I've got this. Let's see. Some people use very humorous slogans to interrupt. Some use very spiritual slogans. Some usually use very funny ones, humorous. So, so yeah, how do you want to, did I already say that? How do you, what words work for you? Like words are really powerful. So whatever words work for you, you can also move into the question, the empowering question, like, so you do something that's not so good. It's like, how can I recover easily? How can I stay in the game? How can I make this night beautiful? Change up something with a question. It's very powerful because your brain loves questions and will search for answers for you. So, slogan, empowering question, those are great. Smile. Like I mentioned the little smirky smile, but smile is so powerful. If you've heard me before, you know that when the corners of your mouth go up, you release these neuropeptides that keep the lights on in here. They keep all of your neurotransmitters working well for you. Your cortex stays online, your decision making, your willpower, your hippocampus, like that's all going to stay online. And then you can get to solutions so much faster. And it's not like you might get over your regret or your shame, but you're not triggering fight or flight, which is going to cause an overreaction to it. Is that clear? Like it's like the thing we're preventing is the overreaction. We're not stuffing down feelings. We're just protecting ourselves from an overreaction, which is usually the result of these floods of hormones. So smile is super powerful. I remember when I was small, my mother said, I always know when you have either made a mistake or played a phrase on your violin not the way you wanted to, because the corners of my mouth would go up. I'd make this little smile. I was doing this before I knew anything about neurotransmitters or neuropeptides or anything. That was my coping mechanism when I would play something that I know wasn't as perfect as I want it to be. And I've been talking about perfection a lot with a podcaster the other day, and actually just yesterday, and the need for perfection. Some of us are just really wired to really want to make everything we do very, very perfect. There's a lot of reasons for that, but what I always look for is it's in some of the things like you can't play a wrong note in a symphony audition. You cannot play a wrong note. You will not be hired. The level of perfection has got to be there. I certainly wouldn't want my surgeon to be 10% off his cut, her cut. I wouldn't want that. I would want my surgeon to know precisely where they have to cut. So perfection is sometimes really required with the things or striving for perfection, being as perfect as we could be. Um, However, if we feel pressure when we're when we're striving for perfection, that's where things get messy. That's where things get really messy. That's where the shame can really come in. So a little bit of a smile can help you get through. Um, let's see, what other tool would I choose to do here? Um, oh, you might swim it since it's emotion. And if you have a pattern of feeling ashamed about a certain thing, like it's just a habitual pattern, then the swim tool might be really great. So you could say, okay, let's say you have a regret about your life that you didn't do something or did do something and wish you hadn't. So you have some big regret and it keeps coming up for you. You could go like this, put your hands together and you say, okay, so in the past, um, I regretted the fact that I'm now open to the possibility that in the future I won't overreact when I think about this. Or you could even say, in the future, I'm so grateful for the fact that I don't think about this much anymore because tomorrow is a new day. Uh, I'll share this to close out today. You may have heard of the body keeps score. Um, the I was talking about that again with this podcaster yesterday. Amazing podcaster, Demisha Craig. Um, and the body keeps score. That is true. The body really keeps score if we keep holding tension. So tension is the thing that we really need to work on. These feelings here can cause a lot of tension. Um, given I think about this a lot. Like today is a new day. In this moment this is the first day of the next 7 years of your life, in which by that point, every one of your cells is going to be new. You're going to be a completely different person. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Think about it. What's different from 5 years ago, 10 years ago? You're a very different person. You may have new skills. You may live in a new town. Like there's all these things that could be different for you. So what's going to be different 7 years for you? Like what do you want 7 years from now? Because you're actually crafting a brand new you. My eyesight is actually better now than it was 5 years ago. My skin is most certainly better than it was in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. Like I'll take this 60-year-old skin any day compared to what it used to be. So, so what is it that you want to have switch up and change? Today's the first day of that. If you've got past shame and regret, um, past negative feelings about mistakes you've made, today's a new day. So, what are we feeding our brain in terms of thoughts? What are we feeding our brain and body in terms of food? Every thought we have affects every cell of our body. So have some fun with that. Like start to notice, wow, I think about that a lot and I didn't even realize it. Now's your time to open that up as far as what you might feel with shame, regret, making mistakes. Um, I just want to mention that I have spots open for my two retreats coming up, one in New Hampshire, one in Napa. So I still have spots open and you'll want to grab those quickly. So I will put the link to my retreats down below here. And if anything I've been saying here, if you've been watching my show and you're like, wow, I have some of that. Like I feel these things and you want to have a conversation with me, you can hop on a call with me. It's a free consultation. We'll talk about some things, give you a couple tools to get you started, and also see if my programs might be a good fit for you. And if there's someone that you know that could use some help, I would love to be connected to them because there's so many people unnecessarily suffering from anxiety, from loneliness, from these kinds of feelings, and they feel no way out, like they don't know how to overcome it. And pressure free is one of the fastest I know to gain some traction and make a true qualitative difference in the way our minds function, the way our bodies function. So I'm wishing you a great pressure-free day, and I'll see you tomorrow.